everyone, I'm Samantha Jacobs, licensed acupuncturist in Ridgefield, Connecticut. My video today is about how to use Chinese medicine to pick your supplements. So I think supplements happen to be one of the most confusing topics out there. I mean, there's just so many options. You Google infertility and supplements and there's just thousands of supplements. And how do you pick what's going to be good for you and is going to give you results? So one of the things that I've been using in my practice to help pick supplements for clients is actually Chinese medicine. So in Chinese medicine, we're not actually just interested in your ovaries and your uterus. We are really interested in your whole physical being. How is your health? So yeah, we're going to ask questions about your menstrual cycle, but we also want to ask questions about digestion and headaches, anxiety, fatigue, sleep issues. Are you moving your bowels regularly? Are you getting up in the night to pee? There's like 101 questions. We want to know how you function as a whole person. And then we're able to build a treatment plan to bring in the pieces of the puzzle that are a little askew so that you can function really well as a whole person. So using this kind of model, I've been educating my clients to actually pay attention to how they feel and how do certain things actually feel in their bodies. And then they can use that information to help them figure out what supplements are actually going to be helpful. So we can see in the two cases I picked for the article, Sally and Barbara, they both had stress. That's a pretty broad term, but when you start to ask what's going on in their bodies, you can see that their stress really manifests very differently. So that's what the steps that you would want to do. You want to keep breaking it down to how you feel and what's going on so that you can search out those particular terms to see if you can find supplements. So to sort of give you another example, I had a client who came to me, irregular ovulation, and in fact she may not ovulate for up to 6 months. Poor egg quality, several failed IVF cycles, and when she came down and sat with me, she actually turned out to have a really intense problem with constipation. She was probably moving her bowels anywhere between 10 and 14 days. It was pretty impact, her belly was pretty hard and lumpy, and it really, struck me that here's a really sort of serious problem. And I guess to the layperson, what would that have to do with your fertility? We're not sure, but from a Chinese perspective, that tells us something's amiss. So I actually recommended for the client calcium, magnesium citrate. Together, they actually work to help relax muscle tone. And the calcium citrate actually will also help to soften and move stool. And I also recommended a great supplement from Designs for Health called GI Revive. And that will actually improve the motility of the large and small intestine. So within about 2 weeks on the supplements, she actually started moving her bowels regularly. And she noticed she was starting to feel really amazing. She actually felt more energized, less weighed down, and she had forgotten, how she felt without having constipation. And the interesting surprise to all of this is that she started to ovulate regularly. And she has been since we've been working together. As long as her bowels move, she also regularly ovulates. So we can see clearly, here's constipation. What would that have to do with her fertility? Certainly was making an impact on her health, but it did actually have an impact on her fertility. So keep that in mind when you're looking at what's going on in your health. Keep things broad. Remember, it's more than just an ovary set of ovaries and uterus, that you are a whole person. To give another example, I had a client with really common anxiety. So, this has got more of a clear connection. Anxiety definitely diminishes fertility. And for this particular client, I actually asked her, what does your anxiety feel like? And she said, well, I feel like my body is kind of buzzy. And I always notice when my body is buzzy, I crave sweets. Like nothing can stop me from eating cookies and chocolate. And then when I have a really bad day, I don't sleep well. So then I'm up all night. And so we can see how her anxiety has clearly got its own set of symptoms for her. So what I decided to do for this particular client is give her a inositol in its plain format, just as a inositol, 2 pills with each meal. And the nice thing about inositol is it's not only potentially an antioxidant at the level of the ovary, it helps control blood sugars, and it actually quells anxiety. So she noticed probably within about 2 weeks of being on the supplement that the edge of her anxiety had disappeared and that her cravings for sugar were greatly diminished. Then the other supplement I put her on was melatonin. So any kind of sleep aid can be a little hit and miss. That's one area that's not always so clear. But generally, melatonin should be working within a week or 2. And she was one of those. She noticed within about 2 weeks that her sleep was becoming really regular, and that she really felt she was getting a deep sleep, and she was refreshed in the morning. The nice thing about melatonin as well is that it's obviously an antioxidant at the level of the ovary, so she's kind of getting the double benefit with that supplement as well. And finally, I recommended for her stress arrest from Designs for Health. Now, stress arrest I found is really great for when you're getting triggered. So say something, your boss says something, or your friend says, guess what, I'm pregnant, and the anxiety pours over and you're just so overwhelmed. It's a great supplement to have on hand, and it will really take the edge off of things. And for my client, that really helped as well. And so controlling her anxiety, we noticed a huge shift in her menstrual cycle. So she was getting consistent ovulation with clear signaling, good cervical mucus, good libido. Her PMS greatly diminished, and she just felt really strong and healthy. So once again, not always focusing on the ovaries and the uterus, but focusing on your whole health can really be a strong impact on helping you become strong and healthy, so that also your reproductive system can be as well. Well, thank you for listening. If you have any questions, feel free to email me, and have a great day. Now let's hope this one works.